Hey everybody, it is Monday, October the 1st, and we are starting this month off strong with Team Time tonight. Dee is out of the country on a once-in-a-lifetime trip, and so we're holding down the fort tonight and really excited to share with you a couple of things that we've learned recently that have changed our businesses up. You're going to hear from a couple of really incredible coaches tonight. But first, just want to affirm your decision to be here. I know there are so many things that you could be doing on your Monday night, but you are here, and we are so glad. My son just started T-ball, and I never want to take him to the practices that he goes to, but every time we go, he learns and he's getting better. And so I think of coming to Team Time as just a practice for our business, right? We learned all these good tips, and we get rejuvenated and get excited about being together. When we get to the end of the call, we're going to have a time for questions. So if you have any ideas or any questions, we highly recommend that you jot them down throughout the call and join us and give us those questions at the end. But the title of tonight's Team Time is the 3 secret weapons that you can use to start your month strong. And the first one, and I'm going to have Courtney talk in just a minute, but the first one is to know your why. And this is one that I've been convicted of big time lately. But we've got to know why we're doing this, why we decided to become a health coach, why it matters. Some of you all just want to pay for your food every month. So we need to know that, right? So what that looks like is you're probably going to want to help about 5 people get healthy each month, and that's going to help you pay for your food. Some of us want to pay off debt. So that's awesome. Some of us are trying to replace income, maybe so we can stay home or to maybe take some of the pressure off of our spouse. And some of us want to make 6 figures. And regardless of where you're at with your business or what your goals are or your why, I want you to know it is possible. Optavia is such an incredible vehicle, and I really believe that you can accomplish just about any goal that you have out there, but we got to know what our why is. But just because it's possible doesn't mean that it just happens, right? Nobody's ever made a 6-figure business that just dropped in their lap, right? We have to show up and we have to do the work. And one of the quotes I read this week that was so meaningful was, "You can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic." Isn't that good? I'm going to say it again because that it hit me. You can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. So yeah, that really hit me and challenged me to do more in my business and to be more strategic in my business. And it all comes from being fueled from our why. So Courtney Colcord, who is one of the executive directors on our team, who's just been incredible, she's made some big changes in her daily routine and in her why. So Courtney, would you mind hopping on here and sharing with us? I'm going to unmute you. Are you're unmuted?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. Like you said, well, when I started, my why was basically, I felt anxious about paying for the food, so I wanted to just make enough money so I didn't have to hurry up and get off plan, and so I was like, let me just make enough money to pay for the food, and then I can definitely come out even and whatever. And then, well, it would be really great if we could pay for some swim lessons, and maybe we could send the 3-year-old to preschool. And so that was awesome. And that was as big as my dreams needed to be at that point. And then that happened, and I was like, oh, well, this could be really fun. And then, and so then I started to see a little bit more of what was possible, but still in my mindset, I think I was reacting to oh, the business is growing. Okay, how do I react to that? And I wasn't really being proactive. And so there was, I guess, just a weekend when I got really, really overwhelmed with all the things that needed to be done. The yard was running out of control. The house was a mess. Everything just felt like too much. And so I talked to Meg and I was like, I think this is too much. I don't know if I can do Optavia. I don't know. This is just too much. I have too much on my plate. I need to take something off. And then we talked about it and realized that Optavia could be a way that made a lot of the other things go away. So it created margin for me, and I would do anything for margin. Having 4 kids, all 7 and under, one with special needs, I need margin more than I need anything. And so if we can have a way to have a little wiggle room I can do anything for that. So I had to shift my mind from being reactive to proactive. So that meant I was going to get up every morning before the kids at 5:30 so I could get some business in, get some quiet time in, get some journaling in. I needed to take care of myself first and what was important to me and make sure that happened instead of letting the day happen to me. And I saw a tremendous growth in my business just from that small step. I feel like it was enough of a shift in the mindset that made me really take my business seriously, I guess. Because the month before, well, usually my pattern in growing the business was really sprint at the last half of the month when I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make my numbers. So, let me just do all the things right now, frantically rush around and watch the calendar with bated breath. And so I didn't make rank in August. And so I decided, okay, well, you know what? I performed in the way that my rank says I did. So instead of dwelling on that, I'm going to put my energy towards September and I'm going to do my map and I'm going to follow it. And I got all that done before September started instead of like September 3rd. Oh, shoot, let me just scribble something down. So I was really front loaded for September. And then by the end of September, when I'd already made rank, I was coasting ready for October. So I felt prepared going into that. I just feel like the why changed my motivation. So instead of being reactive, I started being proactive and making choices that would support where I want to go instead of just hoping I landed there, hopefully because I had good thoughts or something really passive. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Courtney, for sharing. It was cool to see the change in business when you decided to wake up an hour earlier, which I know with 4 kids is not easy to do. But you made it happen and your business certainly benefited from it. And we're going to talk about social media towards the back end of the call and got some great tips from Lauren Humans that we're going to share. But before that, would you mind sharing kind of your thought process behind when you were making Facebook posts in the line of carpool versus when you were
Yeah, for sure. I knew 3, 3, and 3 in the back of my head. And so I kind of had a general, like, more of an anxiety about, oh, I haven't posted. I need to post. I need to, it's just kind of like a second thought. And so I would just do it whenever I had a minute, which is never. I never have a minute. I have to make the minutes because the minutes don't present themselves. And so I would just do it kind of half-hearted in the carpool line, the baby's screaming at me for, whatever she wants. And so my attention is divided and I'm kind of just doing something to be a thing on Facebook, like, oh, let me just do something. And then, that doesn't motivate or inspire anybody. So it didn't motivate me either. Like I wasn't even proud of what I was doing. But now, like in the mornings, it's like my freshest first thoughts. And I'm reading through tons of personal development books and professional books and just have found a lot of nuggets in there. And I noticed since I have even just that little chunk of time, I'm building up my repertoire in my phone on purpose of things that I want to share. As I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'm capturing things. Oh, I love that. Let me redo that. So I think, again, like being on top of the curve instead of reacting to it.
That's awesome. Courtney, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So our first secret weapon is to know your why. So if you don't know your why, and full disclosure, my why has changed recently. And so I had to sit down and really figure out what I wanted and why it mattered so that I could make time and get up early or whatever it is. So highly, highly suggest that you do the same if you don't know it, or maybe it's changed recently, or maybe if your why isn't enough and somebody in one of our books that Courtney's been reading recently said your why has to be strong enough to make you cry, which I don't know, that's pretty intense, but it needs to resonate with you. It needs to inspire you. So highly recommend that you figure out whatever that is and then talk to your business coach and communicate that so that we can help you and hold you accountable in that. So that's your first secret weapon. The second secret weapon we have for you is about time management. And this seems to be one that's good for every single one of us. Most people in today's world are busy, right? We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of people we're taking care of. We've got most people that are health coaches have another full-time job. So they're doing health coaching in addition to whatever else they have going on. So we need to come up with some good tips that we can share for for managing our time effectively. And one of the things that I learned in our Go Global event that we had back in April was a good question. Are your routines serving you? Because if they're not, we might need to make some changes to those routines. So really loved hearing that. But here's a couple of tips. And I know this is one that Courtney's done recently. It's move all of your calls to one night. And that way you have one night a week that you're calling your clients instead of calling everybody all throughout the week or trying to figure out, okay, who do I need to call which day? Makes so much more sense to do it all at once. Another term for that is batch processing. Batch processing means it's a time management technique where we do things that are alike at one time, right? So, the laundry, we do it all together at one time. That's one form of batch processing. You can use it in all different areas of your life, but it's going to make a big difference in your business. If you've got a whole lot of clients and a really big book, maybe you want to pick 2 days that you make your client calls on. But the more you can streamline that, the more time you're going to have for the different things like social media or marketing or really just free time for you that you can be enjoying this life, which is awesome. And another thing I highly recommend is that you figure out what matters most in your business, like what's most important. So for me, it's new business or coaches. Anytime a coach needs me, I try to be available to them, especially a new coach. So that's a primary importance. So any of those things come to the top of my list. So you figure out what's most important in your business, what goals you're striving for. Maybe it's new business. So anytime somebody wants information, we bring them to the top of the list. That's one of the things that you can do to really help. Another thing that a lot of people don't know about, most people have iPhones or a Droid or something like that. Well, you can set the do not disturb button on your phone. And that way, when you're placing all those client calls, you don't get notified when you're getting an incoming call or an incoming text message, or you're not getting all the dings. So that's a very helpful thing so that you can stay focused. It takes 21 minutes to refocus yourself. So anytime you're doing something and something breaks your focus, it takes you 21 minutes to get back into the groove. So the more you can get blocks of time where you can be strategic, the better off you're going to be, the better efficient you're going to be. Highly recommend that. So put that do not disturb on. Another thing that I learned recently that I love is using a stopwatch. So I don't know if you've heard this before, but your brain loves to win. So if you say, okay, I've got 15 minutes, I'm going to see how many clients I can call in 15 minutes. Or I'm going to see how many Facebook posts I can schedule in 15 minutes. Or I just have 15 minutes, I'm going to go in our Eat, Live, and Be Optavia page and be really present in there. Whatever, or maybe it's laundry for 15 minutes, whatever it is, your brain wants to win. So especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, breaking things down into 15-minute blocks is going to make a big difference. So hopefully those tips help around time management. I want to encourage you, no matter how big your business is or how big you want it to be, this Optavia was created to fit into your life. So you can make this work in just about any kind of lifestyle you have. So even if you only have an hour a week to grow your business, we can make that work, but we want to be strategic and make the most of it. But obviously go back to that thought or that quote that we said earlier, you can't make $1 million, or what was it? You can't have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. The same is true. We're not going to make $1 million with Optavia if we're not putting in our heart, right? And being strategic. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there as well. Okay, so the third topic of the night, which is the one I'm most excited about, is social media. And we've got a social media guru here that's going to talk in just a minute and about being vulnerable and authentic. She's got some incredible posts out there. But wanted to give you a couple of tips before she hops on. One thing we're seeing a lot of, that we wanted to make you aware of, Facebook changed the algorithms in terms of Facebook posts. So a lot of people are sharing posts. Let's say I share something that you like and you click the share button. That's just about the worst thing that you can do from an engagement perspective. When you click share, it really limits the number of people that are going to see that post. So the best thing to do is to save that post, save the picture and the text, and post it on your own page like it's yourself. So wanted you to know that because I want to make sure everybody is seeing your posts. That's going to make a big difference. So don't share other people's posts. And I know you might feel kind of funny about that, but don't feel funny about that. It's just one way that we can help more people. Okay, the second, I have been overwhelmed. This kind of goes in time management and social media. I've been overwhelmed thinking about the 3, 3, and 3 lately. Like, oh, I just have too much going on. But you know what? I found something that changed everything for me. So I'm going to share the screen, and y'all can see in my Facebook a little bit about what I do and how I share posts. Would y'all like that? Would that be helpful? Okay, good deal. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and show y'all here. This is my Facebook page right here. So there's a group called Facebook Stories or Transformation Stories to Share. You can be a part of this group if you'd like. But in here are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people's stories that they want you to share to inspire other people. So you can flip through them and kind of see ones that resonate with you. Let's say we wanted to share Christina's post. If you hit these 3 dots in the top right here, you can go down to Save Post. So I click Save Post. You see here she's got the disclaimer, the new disclaimer. We all want to make sure we're using the right disclaimers. And then now if I go to my Facebook here, and you see this is just my Facebook page. By the way, I follow this girl. She's amazing. She's an Optavia coach that has great content. If you go down here to save, hopefully y'all are following me, you can click this button, and here are all the things that I've saved recently. So you can see there might be some of y'all's. There's one of Susan's, but all these posts that I've saved. So now that you have the post that's been saved, what you can do is open up, I click on the picture. So, and I save throughout the week. Anytime I see something that resonates with me, I just save the post and I can always go back to it later. You can go, you click on the picture, and will y'all give me a thumbs up if this is helpful, if this is good? Okay, awesome. So if you are on a Mac and you don't have a mouse, you do Control and then click the button and you can go to Save Image As. If you have a desktop, you just right click and you can save the image. I'm going to save it as on my desktop as Christina's Transformation 10-1. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this text. Same thing, right click or whatever you want to do, copy. And now I'm just going to go to my Facebook. I'm going to paste. There's the text. You can change it if you want to change it, maybe do an intro about Christina. But you could just post it how it is. And then here's one that I had earlier, but you just, and it takes it from my computer, it's taken it a minute to pull up. But you take the image that you want to post and you click share and you're ready to go. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? It was a game changer. When I started doing that, I started saving so much time. And with recipes, that's a great thing to do. And I'll be in physical therapy just saving posts for later. So highly recommend you start doing that. One thing we all want to be sensitive to, we don't want to become one of those groups that everybody posts the same thing all the time. Like we don't want to post the same transformation all the time, right? We do want to make sure we're being authentic. So when somebody posts something, you may want to wait a week or wait a few days before you repost it. That's why the save feature is so helpful. Any questions on that before I give the baton to Lauren? Anybody raise their hand if they have a question on how that works? We good? Awesome. All right, so really excited to pass the baton on to Lauren Humans. She is just, man, she's going gangbusters. She went ED in a month and really has been so vulnerable on Facebook and sharing her story and has done it in such a way that's just attracted a lot of people to Optavia. and she's helping so many people right now, really helping them through her online presence. So excited, Lauren, for you to share with us.
Hey, everybody, and thank you, Meg, for that introduction and just for the amazing leader that you've been for all of us. And I'm excited to share with you guys tonight. So honestly, I was scared the first couple times I posted on social media about my journey. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I think, to be honest with you, I feel like that's really where I've gotten the bulk of my clients, is from sharing on Instagram and on Facebook. And I think some things that have really helped in my own journey with this is really just keeping it real and posting about things when they're on my heart, and when, if I've experienced something really exciting, if, I've met a new goal with my clients, or if I am like having a texting conversation with my clients and, they shared something really exciting, I'll ask permission to share that anonymously, like the text conversation or things like that. And then, or if it's something that I'm going through in my own journey, or if it's, something that I'm seeing in somebody else's journey, just really sharing things that are on my heart. And I actually don't like schedule posts ahead of time. I try to share, at least once a day, but I like to really type it out as I'm feeling it. And I feel like that helps me to really stay authentic and stay raw, and really do it through my emotion. And I know that can be a scary thing sometimes, to really open up and show our true emotions on social media. And I think it was something that I was really scared to do for a while, but seeing the response and seeing people reach out to me, I started my journey the end of March. And so I've been pretty vulnerable since about probably April. And I've had clients even this week reach out to me who signed up, who were like, I've been watching you for a few months and just seeing your journey and seeing, your transformation. Or I saw that you posted about that amazing woman named Zena. Or, I saw you posted about your mother-in-law. It's really cool that this can work for somebody, in that age group or in that like different part of life. And so, I think, just really sharing what's on your heart when it's on your heart really helps for me to stay authentic and vulnerable and raw. And then I think I try to do a mix of things. So one thing that's really helped me is I search on Pinterest for like motivational quotes. And I have an Optavia board, and I'll save like lean and green recipes and hacks and motivational quotes to that. And so when kind of in the morning, kind of similar to Courtney, when I'm having my like devotional time in the morning and just kind of processing and planning for the day, I like to scroll through there and just see what's on my heart that day, like what really sticks out to me with one of those motivational quotes and something that inspire me for my day, and then to kind of make a thought behind that can help inspire others. And so I do that. And then another thing that's been really helpful is that I have like an Instagram page that's devoted just to getting healthy. And I had started even before I started this journey, but I'm pretty open on there. Like I share my weight on there. I share a lot. I share more on there than I do typically on Facebook. And so I've actually had a lot of new clients who have, who were saying they searched #Optavia and found me and really connected to my story and saw that I was a coach and decided that they wanted me to be their coach. And so, I encourage you, if you haven't started an Instagram that's like solely for your Optavia journey or for coaching, then that's been a really huge resource for me. And then I do a lot of hashtags. So I do like #Optavia, hashtag weight loss journey, and you can look at mine. My Instagram is lauren.gets.fit. And if you want to search that, I post quite a bit. I try to post 3 times a day on there. And then I'm trying to think of other things. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is just really getting over the fear of being vulnerable, because just seeing the people who have reached out to me who I had no idea would have reached out to me. And I think when I see that, it just makes me excited. I want to share. I want to impact people. And when I see that my posts can help really transformed somebody else's life, it's like, why would I not want to share? And why would I not want to be vulnerable? And you never know when you're posting something that could really be the thing that really gets someone's attention and really just makes them decide that they want to start their own journey. And so I think getting over my fear and just realizing that if someone hadn't been open about their own journey, that I wouldn't have started. And if I wouldn't have started, then I wouldn't have been able to help the over 90 people that I've been able to help through me and my coaches, and so just really keeping in mind that even though this might be scary to post, or this might, be out of what I would typically post, or more vulnerable, just think about the people you could be impacting with that. And that really helps me to really be raw. And people are, people can tell when you're being genuine and when you're posting things that are on your heart and when you're being authentic. And that's what's really going to get people. And that's what, I hear that constantly. Like, I just really connected with you and with what you were sharing. And I want to know what you're doing, because I really feel like I can relate to what you've gone through, or what, someone else's journey that you were posting about, what they've gone through. And then something that Megan taught me, or Meg, sorry, taught me pretty early on was to really get people on the phone, because in the beginning I was like sending them this really long, like, private message every time someone reached out to me, and telling them all about the program and all about how it works, and sending them the website. And I was getting ghosted constantly, and I was super discouraged. And so Meg was like, Lauren, you just have to get them on the phone. And so I think be vulnerable with your posts, but then once they reach out to you, try to get them on the phone as quickly as possible, because that's where you're really going to connect. And that's where you're going to, most likely going to get them to sign up to be a client, is just by that one-on-one phone conversation. And I'm trying to think. I think that was my main thing.
That was so helpful. Y'all raise your hand if that was helpful for you. It was helpful for me. Okay, so 2 follow-up questions for you, Lauren, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Number 1, can you share why hashtags help? Because some people may not know the purpose behind a hashtag. And the second question is, if you're not scheduling posts in advance or saving posts like we talked about a few minutes ago, and you're busy, you're a full-time pediatric nurse practitioner, got a baby, you got a husband, you got all these things. So how do you make time for posting if you don't schedule it?
Okay. Yeah, so the hashtags, and I don't really do a lot of them on Facebook, to be honest with you. That's more something I do on Instagram. But people can look, people will search, if they, I have all the time, people are like, hey, I heard about Cake Boss and how he did that Optavia program. So I searched hashtag Optavia on Instagram, and all these posts from you came up. And so I started looking at your page, and I just connected with you. So how that works is, when you're posting something and you put hashtag Optavia, when someone searches for Optavia, that's going to come right up on their page. And so that's a huge resource. I don't feel like it's used as much with Facebook, and maybe I'm wrong with that, but in Instagram in particular, if people use hashtags all the time. And so I have a couple of them that are big for Optavia. One is hashtag My Bigger Life. I use a lot of hashtag weight loss or hashtag weight loss journey. Or if you go to if you go to @lauren.gets.fit on Instagram, you'll see all the hashtags I use. And I probably have clients from 20 states by now, or 15 states, of people who I've never met, who just found me on Instagram and wanted to sign up, and just saw my story. So that's really, really helpful. And then as far as my posts, so I just kind of like what Meg was talking about taking 15 minutes. I really try not to have my business bleed into my family time. And so I work full time as a nurse practitioner. So I'll use sometimes my lunch break to do a post. Getting up earlier in the morning, like I talked about, and posting a motivational quote before I start getting ready for the day, as I'm just kind of having, devotional time and time to just pray and meditate and think through my day. And then I also will try to do one sometimes before I'm going to bed. So just kind of my wrapping up my day, or wrapping up my thoughts, or, and so kind of just picking out times of the day when I have a 5-minute time to just sit down and be able to focus on it. Because I think what Courtney said was huge. Like, you really want to focus and have time to really think about and pour your heart into what you're posting instead of just posting something. So really, really putting the time and effort into what you're going to do. And so if you have 5 minutes, so if you have 5 minutes 3 times a day and you can post something, that 15 minutes is going to be huge. And I am often able to do that even in less than 5 minutes, but that's, I think, my biggest tip.
Awesome. Thank you, Lauren. That was so helpful.
You're welcome.
We are running up against 8 o'clock, so I want to respect everybody's time and give you time to hop onto Dr. A's call, which tonight is going to be how to end the year strong. And Dee made presidential director today or yesterday, and what we've learned is it's what you do 90 days. 90 days from now is you see that in 90 days. So we call it the 90-day dash. So the things you're doing today and tomorrow are going to impact you come January 1 when everybody wants to get healthy. So this is the time to finish strong and start next year strong. So highly recommend you click that link and hop onto that call. If you've got questions, would love to answer them. You can comment on the picture or on the video that we post of tonight's session. And y'all have a great week. Thanks for making the investment and being here. See y'all.